Hey, you're watching Fat Man DD1, you dingus. Whatever he said.
Oh boy, Fat Man. Okay. This is new. I'm doing something new. If you're fucking with it, I appreciate it. Listen, thank you to everyone who's been watching the channel. We're at 1,000. We're gonna be at 1,100 soon. I can't wait for that. Keep subscribing. Keep checking out the channel. I want to grow. I am trying to grow on YouTube, and it's been a long, long time. Now, I'm sitting here in my robe all nice and comfy. I know the hair is crazy because I just woke up, and it's like 4:12 in the morning. So I'm doing this pretty early. I should have did this yesterday, but I got preoccupied. But for the most part, we're checking out some Avatar, some Team Avatar goodness. So let's get down to it. So we're fucking with Bryan Konietzko or Bryan Konietzko or Konietzki or however you say his name. That's Bryan Konietzko, the way I can say it, or he's gonna basically say it in a minute. This is a 10-minute video. You know I'm gonna turn this into a 20-minute thing. I apologize. Let's just get on the groove. If you're fucking with your boy, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. If you're fucking what we're doing with the new template, and do you like everything right now? Appreciate it. Let's go. Ooh,
Avatar was the hardest thing I had ever done.
Really?
Until we did Korra.
Korra was trash. I'm sorry. Until we did Korra. Korra was garbage. Korra, I get it. Korra had villains. But I think Aang, even though he was a kid, there was heart and soul to that entire series. There was power, there was friendship, there was love, there was new beginnings, there was death, there was chaos. With Legend of Korra, there was a lot of these things that people think teenagers want, right? And it was trying to connect to, at the time I was fresh, I think fully fresh out of high school, type of person who's 21. I know, right? But this was trying to connect to my ass and other people fresh out of high school. And I personally sat down and was like, this ain't it. This ain't it. Like, it ain't it. It was, yes, the character of Korra was just insufferable. Like, she was just annoying. Every time I felt like she was on screen, she was PMSing. Like, she was bitching about something, and her friends could easily help her, but she didn't want to take it. And she shit on a lot of the characters. Even Mako, one of her fucking boyfriends, who was named after the voice of the man that was Uncle Iroh. So I'm like, they shitted on Mako. They shitted on Mako's brother until like the 4th or 3rd season, when they finally, the 4th season, they get like extra bending powers. Nigga can bend lava and rock. I'm like, lava bending, which is a form of, I guess, fire and earth bending. Okay. But it was, the show itself was not that good to me. Yeah, some people would say it's better than Aang, but honestly, I'd be like, in what way, right? In the way of writing? Probably not. In the way of bending and fighting? Maybe. In the way of villains? Okay, yeah, probably. But at the same point, those villains and these characters are all different, right? I liked Avatar characters because I grew up with them and I could understand the world that they were trying to build. And I wanted to see the world that they were trying to build. We never get to see said world. We only get to see portion of it through Legend of Korra. And I really didn't care about that, honestly. Let's continue.
Now we're getting to expand the franchise in different directions all at once. It's a challenge. Hi, I'm Bryan Konietzko, co-creator of Avatar:
Bryan Konietzko. I said it right.
Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra, and co-chief creative officer of Avatar Studios.
Bro, you know he got money. This is any white dude with money that's like, I want it to be a very powerful cinematic shot. So get me sitting on this balcony reading this book and zoom in on me, and then it pan up at the... Get the fuck out of here. This is such an arbitrary way to do cinema. I would do the same thing, but with a drone shot coming from behind you, around in front of you, flick right into a camera, and then go back into a drone to hover up. Boom. That makes it better. I'm just saying, personally for me.
I graduated from the Rhode Island School of Design in 1998.
We're all on the road to Rhode Island. I'm sorry.
That's where I met Mike DiMartino, co-creator of Avatar. They called it the Toon Boom of '98, and there was a big push for primetime sitcom animation. There was this gap. There was this idea that animation for adults was just primetime stuff where people were either being crude or sarcastic, and then there was like kid stuff.
I have grown up. It is nature's way.
An opportunity came up to work on Invader Zim, and that got me over to Nickelodeon.
It's over, Tack! The Earth is mine to devastate!
I went over there as a storyboard artist. It was just like pure creativity.
Now Santa is going to destroy you!
I ended up becoming art director on that show for the second season. Got sent over to Seoul, South Korea to work with the animation studios. That gave me this whole window into something I was really curious about. It was the actual animation.
But first, you gotta check out my new venture, Moving Pictures.
That experience and exposure really fed into making Avatar.
Hopefully, our visit to all of the air temples will give you the inspiration you need to delve more deeply into your studies.
And we got really lucky that there was just this moment in time where Nickelodeon wanted to branch out from doing comedy, coming-of-age type shows that they were really well known for.
This time we're going to try something a little different.
We wanted to create a story that we hoped would have a shelf life. You're not just being entertained and distracted for...
I like that. You have to look at it now. I think that's why I like Vox Machina. It has a shelf life of, like, to me, 4 or 5 seasons. It has a shelf life of growth, death, rebirth, right? And it's just like the Avatar show. The animation is on point, the energy is on point, the voice acting is on point from veterans on the voice acting industry. Cartoons or anything animated at this point have a shelf life. Sometimes, it's the crude, lewd shit, or it's stuff that you want to have fun with it and tell a good story. I love good storytelling, right? South Park, there can be a story told there if the creators want. Family Guy, there can be a story there if the creators want, right? Same thing when it comes to any cartoon out there that comes out. All of the shows that come out go straight to streaming services. They don't have a long shelf life because they're so long and they're not, I don't say buyable. They don't have the patience for you to sit, watch it then, and watch it later. It's the patience, you know what I'm saying? It's the patience of an entire show this long that's online, and you can easily binge it in a couple hours and just be done with it. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to sit back and say, was that memorable? Like reading the entire book through. Was that memorable? Can you really remember that? Or did you read the whole thing through and not even care about the story, the premise, the plot? Be honest with it. So I like how he's going for long form content and what's the meaning of that content. What does that content hold in this time and place? Because you can't really say that about a lot of shit today. You know what I'm saying? So I fuck with this train of thought.
22 minutes. Let's not have that reset button. Let's let the characters grow. Let's have an arc.
Mastering the elements takes years of discipline and practice. But if the world is to survive, you must do it by summer's end.
It's not magic. It's something that's earned. It's something that's learned.
I better spend the whole day training.
It's this cumulative effect. You're gaining something and you're moving in a direction. That's how you tell an epic scope. There has to be a journey.
You'll need these. You have a long journey ahead of you.
Being a kid who grew up on Star Wars and Willow and getting to immerse.
Oh my God, Star Wars, Willow. And do you know what Disney is doing with those? They're murdering these things. Star Wars doesn't have the same shelf life as it used to. The Willow TV show is trash and should have been called something else because they try to make it just like the movie, and they're pulling out this weird shit. Like they're trying to make the female character seem like she's really strong but bitchy. Which, why do they always do that? Why are female characters supposed to be strong yet bitchy? I'll be like, why are you bitchy? Like, the male characters ain't strong yet bitchy. He's a little confused and dim-witted, but at least he gets his shit done. Why is the female character not, like, confused, dim-witted, but smart and can handle her business when it comes down to it, but she can't do it alone, right? Sometimes it's the same with, like, male characters. They can't do it alone. They always got some type of backup. They try go hunting it, and they almost die, right? But then someone saves their ass at the last minute. I love those things. The crazy thing is he's inspired by Star Wars. You don't want people to know they're inspired by old Star Wars. Look, and it's old Star Wars when the lightsabers aren't like the ones they have now. They had to, like, put the color in that bitch. Oh my God. Do you see this? Do you see what I am saying? And then Willow. Ugh. So his inspirations come from across the board, bro. This is crazy.
into a huge world. It just gave me that feeling that I want to create stuff like that.
What about the time you guys took down the Fire Lord? That must have been epic.
Avatar's what we wanted to make. But when we're talking about deep, long-form storytelling, we didn't create that. It was something we, as Western viewers, we were just craving that. If you were watching anime, that was just normal.
I hate the way he says anime. It's anime. It just anime. You can say anime, like as in how the Japanese would say anime. It's just say anime. Just say anime. I hate that. 'Cause no one, unless you're Japanese, will say anime, right? But that means you know Japanese to say it that way, or however they say it in Japanese. But Jesus, just say anime. Just say anime, not anime. Just say that. I appreciate it. Like it just that sounded so fucking cringe come out his mouth.
What? How? Where'd you get that idea?
If you were only exposed to American animation at that time, yeah, that probably felt pretty fresh.
My favorite place in the world, New York Comic-Con. But how do I put this in the best words possible? You're not exposed to just American animation. I watching cartoons, yes, solely at a certain point in time, growing up on like waking up early in the morning to watch whatever comes on before cartoons on WB11 when was it Channel 11 used to have like Cartoon Cabana or a Big Fat Baby, you know, stuff like that. Or Freakazoid or Voltron, Defenders of the Universe, or Beast Wars. Shit, I grew up with Beast Wars used to be on TV. And then they cut that shit off, right? And Voltron, the Third Dimension. So I grew up on everything else that is American style cartoons. And then anime came right across the fucking board. It was Card Captor Sakura, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Zoids. Even Power Rangers was new to me at a certain point. It wasn't cartoon, but it was new to me, right? Big Bag Beetleborgs. VR Troopers was on television. I remember those days. It used to come on TV. So when you look at the landscape now, it changes through what you as a person want, from something that is long form to something that is short form, right? And by short form, I mean something that's like South Park or Family Guy or American Dad or any of the other fucking things. Like even Rick and Morty sometimes can just go in, make fun of some shit, do some dumb shit, and call it a fucking day. Personally, I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with is the way people think that's all I want from my animation, right? I want my animation to reflect a little bit of my real world, just a little bit, not too much. The real world is bullshit sometimes. And then the rest of it's an escape. The rest of it is inspirational. The rest of it is inspiring. The rest of it is more of a motivational kick in the ass from someone like me that feels like he wants to be a part of the anime industry or the animated industry in general, right? Like SpongeBob was okay. I didn't grow up with it. Ugly Monsters, hilarious, right? My Life, as Told by Ginger, Wild Thornberries, Rugrats, all grown up. I grew up with a lot of stuff, even more. So to see him say that as a Westerner, you didn't know you want long form content till someone gives it to you. Necessarily, no. I always wanted that, even as a kid, watching Cardcaptor Sakura and getting to be a certain age where I actually finished it. Growing up, and Sailor Moon and other stuff used to come on TV. Like it used to be on WB11 long time ago. You know what I'm saying? It used to come on. It used to be amazing. This is me growing up as a kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was born in 1992, so it's like whatever. But growing up and seeing these seeing anime like Sailor Moon or Dragon Ball on TV was kind of like, what is this? It used to come on, it was a Beak? Like Beak used to show Sailor Moon or Dragon Ball, I guess, at the time. Or was it Toei, I guess. But on television, through these regular broadcasting networks, like that shit never caught me. And then it just grew to be fun to watch these things. But I knew they were telling stories, right? And I always thought all cartoons can do this. Static Shock came out, Batman, the animated series, Superman, the animated series. These things pushed me because I only watched Superman, like, the movies. I only seen Batman, the movies. When they finally came out with shows as a kid, I was like, yes, I seen the movies. This is now a TV show. I'm going to be in the long ride for it. So when it comes out that you're putting out content, and I like how he says we didn't try to make it long form or tell a story. It just happened. Nothing ever just happens. You have a direction, a goal, and sometimes that shit changes. So it may happen by like a 2 degree, but it changes up to be a byproduct of some good shit. Let's continue. Apologies.
That's probably why we had a lot of adult viewers and people who weren't even usually into animation.
Avatar State!
I've always described Avatar as an homage, a love letter to Japanese anime, but we were always...
See? He says an homage and a love letter. It's not anime. I'm gonna rewind that back for the rest of you bitches out there.
I've always described Avatar as an homage, a love letter to Japanese anime, but we were always conscious that we weren't trying to pass it off as a counterfeit.
They weren't trying to pass it off as a counterfeit. In other words, they were not trying to make anime. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even he knows the fucking difference between Japanese anime and what the fuck they were doing. I love that shit. The nigga said it for most of everybody out there. Avatar, Legend of Korra, they were not Japanese anime. He said it. We weren't trying to be these things. We weren't trying to make clones. We were just trying to make something that was relatable or felt like that. That's fine, but it wasn't it. Fuck all you people out there. Woo! I don't know why I'm happy about that, because sometimes people get into arguments like, this is anime. It's not. It's not. It's feels like it, but it's not.
Didn't want to like just copy what we were seeing and what we thought was cool. How could we make something from the heart that was authentic, but was also wearing our inspiration on our sleeve?
Respectable.
We all deserve a little rest and relaxation after all this craziness.
After Korra, Mike and I, we were both burnt out on TV, production. Trying to execute a vision through a team of people spread across the world is really challenging.
So I like how he says that, because after Legend of Korra, they were all burnt out, or just in general Avatar, because that burnt out energy really gets to you because you're creating, you're spreading it through everybody who lives across the fucking world. You're doing this, you're doing that, and then you realize, this is so tiring. Once it's finished, you as the creator are barely like, yeah, that's fine. I don't give a fuck. Are we done yet? You know what I'm saying? Like, you get burnt out. And that's kind of like how most YouTubers feel when they have projects or they're working on stuff or they feel like they're doing it for the better good. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's like, yeah, I've made this video series and I'm going hard. I got 3 million views here, 4, 6, 12, 16 million. I'm tired. I'm burnt out. You know, that happens. It happens to a creative because you're pulling from different fucking angles of content in the world. I guess this happens to everybody, especially when you're creating large forms of content, extensive forms, details, research, martial arts, stuff like that. When it comes to a lot of content creators out there, I was burnt out one time. I did a 30-day series and I got burnt out. It didn't do my channel any good, but when shorts came in, that's really helped me out. Shout out to everybody who watches the shorts, because that short form content pulled my shit up and I was happy. And I started doing anime stuff. Like, oh, I recommend this, even though I didn't see it, or I'll try to watch it and give you the breakdown of best as I could on the shit that you should watch. But other than that, boy over here was burnt. And I would be burnt out too, because you have to create a series, create another one, and then maybe create a successor to said series and another successor and maybe pull forward. But when it comes to broadcasting television, that shit gets fucking crazy and it gets kind of tiring, you know? And people, don't get me wrong, I felt the same way when it comes to like anime or any cartoon I've watched that I felt like I want this to come back. I wanted Static Shock to come back. I want a Static Shock movie, right? Why do I want these things? Because I grew up with Static Shock. It's not going to be that version. It could be the milestone version, whatever. But when you grow up with these things, you want to keep seeing them succeed until they officially end. I watched Justice League Unlimited. And when it finally ended, I was like, that's it for Justice League. Though I won't ever watch this shit again because I watched it from the beginning.
You go through your own character arcs when you make these things. You go through your own challenges, you know.
It's okay. Why don't you take a break?
I got to a point where when I would watch, not just animation, but scripted stuff, I could hear the network notes. It was hard to watch. Even my friends' shows.
Why did you give me Momo's ears?
He said, even my friends' shows. So, I respect that. He's telling the truth right now. All this is the truth. He's like, fuck that. I'm telling the truth. He is saying it. I can see where it's the network. I can see where it's my stuff. And I can, same thing with my friend shows. I can see where the network just put their grubby little government fucking big corporation fingers in that bitch. And don't get me wrong, that's a problem. Because when you're looking at something, you're looking at it from, did the creator make this? Or did the network say, you should do this, this, and this? Take that out, put this. Did they, you know what I'm saying, critiquing your shit as you're trying to make it? Because I like when he said, I could sit down and look at all the stuff that the storyboards and everything we made, and I can see where the network stepped in, even on my friends' shit. That's crazy. Because you know, the moment you were sitting there doing something, or you're drawing and storyboarding and you see stuff, and you say, this don't make sense. Who put this in here? And it's the network exec sitting over there like, I did. I feel like this would be better. Who the fuck are you? Who are you, Bradley? Who is this nigga? You know what I'm saying? And that hurts when you can, that means you got a keen eye when you can sit down and watch something that this person made. Like, that's crazy. That to me, that's some hindsight. Because you can see when someone's gone in there with the grubby little fingers and fucked with it.
At least you don't look like a porcupine. My hair's not that spiky.
At the beginning of Avatar, I was so fueled by inspiration. By the end of that, I was like out of that fuel.
If you don't deal with your repressed feelings, there will be severe consequences to your health.
I feel everything he's pulling from like the different parts of the shows, right? You got the funny moments, you got all the good moments. You have something that makes sense. I feel as he pulls from how tired he's been, how exhausted he's been working on the show, you get a sense that it wasn't easy to finish making these things and leave them off terrible cliffhangers. Personally, Legend of Korra, when you killed the entire fucking Avatar state, what, you gonna start from fucking ground zero, and Korra's where you're like, yeah, ground zero. At least, you could have murdered Aang. You could have left Aang, but no. You could have left Kyoshi. You could have left somebody. But no, they're like, yeah, we're gonna fuck this whole series. Really, nigga? Being burnt out probably shows us, or he's probably telling us, a lot of the stuff that I've made over the years was not just me. It was also corporations. It was also said corporation that might have gave you a terrible ending. It was also said corporations that were like murder the Avatar state. He's probably pawning these things off as excuses, but that's perfectly fine. But being tired is a real thing. Like, people are just like, nah, nigga, I'm out of here. I don't know what you're talking about.
And your job.
Our shows are always about balance. Sometimes you need to swing in a different direction. So I really took a break from animation. It was awesome, because I found stuff that refilled.
He took photography. He was like, man, I started taking photos again. That shit's amazing. I'm a photographer, so I feel him. He's like, I'm gonna get low right here. I'm gonna turn my body. I'm gonna do this. Ooh. He's taking beautiful pictures of the flowers, hitting the sun hitting the flowers. He's shooting the tree, the sun inside of the tree. You could sense this man is connecting back with like stuff that he loves, which is respectable.
That tank that honestly I don't think I had topped off since the beginning of Avatar 20 years ago.
You inspired us. Once we heard that you survived out in the wilds, we decided to try it too.
And we got, sucked back in.
This is just talking about films and stuff that's in development. Yeesh.
Into the TV world. Nickelodeon was under new leadership, and they were like, hey, we really love and respect Avatar, and we would love to have you guys come back.
At that moment, we knew you had returned to the world.
I was like, I've spent the majority of my adult life in that building in Burbank, California, and I need a different environment. What if we did a bigger overall deal instead of just project to project? Somehow we got our own studio within Nickelodeon.
So I created a place I could truly call.
I like that. I respect that he got his own studio because and it takes a lot to negotiate a deal with Nickelodeon because Nickelodeon could have told him, "Listen, suck our dicks." They straight up. Nickelodeon could have told him SMD. They could have said that off the bat, but it takes a corporation like Nickelodeon to say Invader Zim ain't never coming back, and when it did, it was Invasion of the Forkin or whatever the fuck. SpongeBob is just SpongeBob. And anything else that happens, Danny Phantom ain't never coming back. And it's kind of over, right? And Butch Hartman's a jackass, I hear. So the biggest thing and the largest product they had was Avatar. From these guys, right? And Bryan Konietzko, you got to give it to him. He's saying and telling the truth when it's like, I've been burnt out. Working on this shit for the studio has been crazy. Studio oversight and input into my business. Fuck out of here. And he's like, I spent half my adult life in that shit. I don't want to do that again. What he wants is a studio where he has oversight and complete control. That means they gave him a studio and they've been giving that nigga he's been banking. He's been making money off of this. He has to. And that means they're paying for said studio in the building. Baby. So to get the creative energy going so you can work and do your own thing, I respect it.
Call home.
So now with the stuff we're doing in Avatar Studios, we're just like, it's years later. What technology is available? How can we even push that further?
Varric's heading up my new...
feel like I watched Korra when they had a lot of these, like, the final, was it the 4th season with the fucking earth-bending metal bitch, Toph's, like, granddaughter or whatever the fuck, or Toph's daughter's fucking chick that she trained, was a giant, insufferable bitch. You wanted to rule everything and take over everything with a giant robot. All those 3D fights and 3D monsters did not look good. No. But they tried. And they made it okay. The stuff that makes Avatar big is not giant kaiju battles. It's one-on-one personal battles. It's the energy, the emotion, the build-up to these characters, to these villains. Those things that push a character to the next level. I love it. Those things aren't achieved. You sit here kind of like, the fuck is that? That's why Korra didn't strike a chord with me, right? It didn't strike that energy with me because it was just like, this is okay.
Technology division.
I've seen the future, and the future is magnets.
I like to see technology support artwork. I don't want to see artwork support technology.
Wow! I didn't know you could draw.
Artwork, technology should support artwork, but at the same time, you need to learn if this technology can be implemented into your art. What you're doing and what you're saying is far from it. Because when we go into the show, we see that the technology that's there, it's shit. It doesn't blend well. Like, I've watched a lot of anime where I can say they've blended this well into something. And you can see where they haven't. Like, what is it? Dragon Ball Battle of Broly, like the Broly thing. It was beautiful to see Broly come back. And then it was beautiful to see the fusion. It was beautiful to see these clashes. And then when it went from this real cell animation to this 3D shit, it looked ugly and it was jarring. And I saw what they did. Like, oh, it's the 3rd dimension. Let's fight. And I'm like, okay. But then when you play a game like Dragon Ball FighterZ, they're able to take the full motion of these characters, create their powers, their abilities, do everything beautifully. And somehow in a, I don't want to say it, big budget movie that went to freaking theaters and made billions of dollars, millions of dollars, it all of a sudden has this weird jarring animation. I think if you're able to blend newer technology with animation, you can capture and create beautiful things, but it has to be seamless. Sometimes that shit is trash. Trash, nigga.
There's this great Miyazaki rule. Everything you do at Studio Ghibli, even if it's going to end up 3D, has to start as a handmade piece of art. And for me, I mostly did landscape oil painting. I love that stuff. So one of the
So he only did landscape oil painting. So I bet money the scenery, everything we've seen, it's probably been from him.
biggest reasons for co-creating Avatar was like a chance to do cool background paintings.
I knew it.
Epic landscapes.
It's beautiful up here.
It's beautiful, and more importantly, the Fire Nation can't find us.
Actually, all of Avatar, almost all the storyboards were drawn on paper. We came back 2 years later to do Korra, and the industry had changed. Everybody was drawing storyboards in a program. And
Yeah, that's you did everything on paper, and I guess that part of Avatar is so timeless. That's why the first season, the first show itself sticks with people, because it's the final form of animation done well through paper, and then created animated beautifully from what was paper to this beautiful collage and mystery and energy of a show that is freaking amazing. And then you come back and the whole freaking franchise turned digital. Like, I remember this was like what, 2010, 2011, 2015. No, 2009 or 10 or 12. Like, I remember talking about this stuff on my old channel, where it's supposed to be more like review style. But damn, yeah, that's good luck with that.
Mike and I didn't know how to use the program.
From now on, developing this technology is your #1 priority.
I'm not the most technologically minded person, but I'm pro technology. Like, if it's gonna make the art better.
This is going to change everything.
Things have obviously changed a lot. You know, that was 20 years ago since we created Avatar.
The world has changed in the 100 years you've been gone.
I like how he does all of the changes, like things change, and they kind of he's relating to a lot of stuff that's happened through him coming back and trying to make a new series, right? The being tired, the creating all of the awesome stuff, Burbank, having co-executive fucking control your artwork or change something up. And then the creating, the passion, the loving it, the not trying to be anime. The fuck, he said it right there, you schmucks. Fucking proof. And that in itself is amazing, because he's breaking this down and telling the audience, like, listen, I'm old. I'm trying. We're still doing this. We're still here for you, the people who want to give us the money. But shit's hard, okay? And he had to come back and learn new styles. How do you teach an old dog new tricks? You don't. You make sure you give the nigga millions of treats so he learns one. And then you hope for the best.
Compositing has gotten so incredible.
What is that?
You have your background art, your character art, and you slap it together and you photographed it. And then they figured out, oh, well, if we do this, we can get some depth, we can get some soft focus.
All the while mentally composing the most exciting...
He's like, what is compositing? For anybody out there, he was like, listen, I'm going to break this down for you.
tale ever told.
Between Avatar and Korra, we added one in-house
Are they using After Effects? That's just crazy.
compositor. And that leveled us up hugely. And you're seeing that. Something like Arcane. Don't get me wrong. The art directions, the painting, all that's beautiful, but that shows compositing. That's the secret sauce that gels it all together. And
I never watched Arcane because I don't care about League of Legends, but I never even cared about I know about it. Like, I know about it. I never sat down and watched it, but he says even in Arcane, there's compositing all over that bitch. That's why it was so successful and good. And you know what? I like that. I enjoy that. Now, what else about it was good? I don't know.
Their compositing is gorgeous.
I urge you to meditate on these visions.
Even in 2D, you can simulate some 3D stuff. It's this hand-drawn, hand-painted world, but the camera's moving freely.
Look at fucking Appa right there. Look, what the fuck is all this shit? Why is it, every time he does something, some shit pops up? Look at that. Look at the way he draws old Appa or a flying bison. Look at that shit. That's beautiful. You want to take a picture of that and redraw it and paint it on your wall. That's amazing.
Through it, you're not stuck in this kind of rigid 2D world. Some people call that 2.5D. We at Avatar Studios, we are very into utilizing technology to support.
Bro, this is ugly. This is ugly. You were technology, yeah, nigga, but this is ugly. Let's rewind that back. This is one of Aang's kids, not his kid, like one of his grandchildren. Look at this shit.
We at Avatar Studios, we are very into
animation.
Utilizing
So whatever the fuck that is. This is ugly. I hope y'all knew this was ugly.
Technology to support us and to help the artwork have more dimension and depth.
Well, I think you all look perfect.
We feel like at its heart, we want to keep that 2D craft alive.
Some traditions have purpose.
We still find the Avatar world to be really rich for us creatively. And we always would have ideas like while we were...
Here we go. Here's stuff people might be wanting to know if they're coming back, making more shit.
We're making one of the two shows. Wow, wouldn't it be cool to like explore that? Wouldn't it be neat to do something in a different tone? And now we're getting to expand the franchise in different directions all at once.
You're on-screen talent, kid. Leave the storytelling to the masters.
Now we're making a movie, our first movie. As cool as it was to work in TV, like features were like, that's where you get to really craft something that you're not just rushing and having to put it out. And so that always, as an artist, that was like really alluring to me.
We're gonna do big business with these movers, as I call them.
It's executing it is the hard part. Getting those ideas woven together in some sort of a meaningful, satisfying way. Then executing that in animation, which is really a hard medium, especially hard to do consistently.
I feel like he's trying to get to the point where it's like us doing it now and pushing forward and executing and even developing and creating anything new at this point would be easy or hard. But I actually hope whatever comes from it, they do continue to make some good shit, right? I loved Avatar. But now, as I'm older, or whatever the fuck, right? I have to now look at the old season and love it even more because it was the best of the best. Korra was okay. It was trash, honestly. Honestly, Korra was trash. Like, there's good parts from Korra, but the rest of it was trash, right? Korra's friends were better than her. How? I will never know. But that's, even they played side characters to an already character who thought she knew it all, and then her friends never put her in her place. Like, yo, like, chill the fuck out. I loved Avatar growing up. Now, at a certain point in my age, just like these guys, can I still reach into the bag of love and energy and support and want something? I don't have Avatar The Last Airbender merch. I don't have any of that shit. Because at this point in my life, I feel like I have to buy it. It has to be useful. I have to want to use it. I have to want to get it. Same thing when it comes to this mic, my ring light, the camera I'm using, the new laptop I got. You have to look at the things that are precious to you and what you want to utilize it for, right? He's probably sitting here and saying, listen, we're coming back, we're making new things, but it's going to be hard or easy depending on how the industry has changed. Now, if he can adapt to the way the industry's changed and the tiredness, and if they want to keep making another 4 seasons of something new, beautiful. That's up to them. Or 5. You know what I'm saying? And even at that moment, he talked about an Arcane feature film. So he's talking about an Avatar, The Last Airbender film. Shit sounds wild. But will it be the things that we want from Avatar? Will it be the love, the energy? All the voice actors are still primed and ready because this is something they love to do as well. Honestly, we finish the rest of this, I know we're not getting teased anything like, no, he's updating us, which is cool. I like an update. Give it to me, man. And give me the fun that comes next, because that's the best part about animation. Like, what comes next? What's the best part about it? Let's go.
On schedule, on budget, I can't really wrap my head around the final mix and the final color correction on the feature.
It's just a mover. Don't overthink it.
Avatar was the hardest thing I'd ever done until we did Korra, which was even harder. Now we're talking about doing multiple projects at the same time, including feature films.
So we have films coming. If he finally confirms they have films coming, I don't like articles sometimes or IGN or other places because I feel like you're saying there's going to be films, but did the creator come out and say it? Because I want to know.
I get myself into this. But as with the first two series, it's worth it.
You represent the future of a culture that is being reborn.
If we do our jobs well, we will have taken advantage of these amazing opportunities and hopefully created some beautiful artwork and some meaningful storytelling that will resonate with people.
Oh, and you know what's good about this? He leaves it off with Aang and Momo. Aang and Momo right there. There's no motherfucking stupid, man. Fuck that bitch, Korra. Let me leave this off. Watching this entire thing has kind of given me hope for Avatar, the Avatar series, what's next for the Avatar series. And personally, this is a long video, so I'm sorry. But something on my YouTube channel has kind of shown me that you guys want long-form content, and so do I. So I can't wait to find out what's next coming from the Avatar series. And if these guys, he said multiple projects and feature films. So off the jump, that tells you we're getting an Avatar movie. About what Avatar, we don't know. And multiple projects, please be good merchandising because I can't find anything I care about. So off the jump, I'm fine with this. I'm okay with this. And tell me what you think in the comments below. What did you think of this video? What did you think of my commentary? Just let me know in the comments and straight up and be honest. This is your boy Fat Man. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell icon to be notified. And remember to never give up, never surrender, keep it grinding. And always remember this, right? Remember this. When it comes to animation, it's the hardest game out there. It's always been. It will never not be the hardest shit out there. And the moment you sit back and say, oh, this is easy or anybody can do it, you, my friend, or my gal, or whoever the fuck, you're looking at it from the outside looking in. And it is okay. But you have to understand this shit can get crazy. This shit can get hard. It can get stressful. Especially we have an organization like Nickelodeon breathing down your fucking neck. You might lose your mind. But now since he has a studio, since he has time, since they have breaks, since they already have enough money, it's not just the money. It's the passion still there. Is the love still there? Can we still do this? Do people still want this? And motherfucker, yes. So tell me what you think in the comments below. And let's go. Avatar. Yip yip, motherfucker. Peace.
Shit. Getting on drum. You little niggas gonna stop acting like my shit ain't the grill. Some of you niggas get your front teeth for grills. And I ain't talking about the contract.
I ain't loving these fake hoes. Room smelling like 8 switches. Room service like 2K. NBA, I'm ballin', nigga. All them niggas fallin' like all them niggas. Talking shit, I saw them niggas. Now they daughter want a picture. Rough, ain't it? Fuck famous. Yeah, niggas too real, got the most haters. Wrote a story, so Stephen Curry. How it feel to be golden.